Hey there, I'm Lisa Bishop of the Christian Working Woman, and it's time for another coaching moment to help you thrive in your career and life. In today's video, I want to give you tips on what to do when you've made a mistake. Listen, we have all been there. You're on an important project at work and you realize you left an important piece of information from a presentation and the pitch to the client tanks. Or you miscalculate numbers, incorrectly project procurement figures, or make a decision that ends up costing the company time and or money. What do you do when you've made a mistake? The human tendency can be to hide your mistakes, unless it's blatantly obvious. And sometimes we just hope that nobody will notice. Or we can go into blame or default to it's not my fault mode. When we make mistakes, our brain, it goes into survival and protection mode and can cause us to react emotionally rather than rationally with professionalism and integrity. So, what do you do when you mess up at work? First, pray. Ask God to give you wisdom on how to best approach the situation. Invite the Holy Spirit to give you wisdom so you don't react in your flesh. After you've prayed, it's time to practice accountability. Now, this is where your humility kicks into gear. Rather than going into self protection, you're going to lead with transparency. And I know that feels really hard. Fear can kick in because our brains go to the worst case scenario. What if I tell the truth and I get into big trouble, or worse, get fired? We can tend to catastrophize in moments of fear and uncertainty. And while there's no guarantee that you're not going to get fired, that shouldn't keep you from fessing up. Most likely, you won't lose your job, unless, of course, your mistakes are a pattern or your blunder is so enormous that you can't recover. But you will lose your credibility if you don't come clean and it comes out later. Your duty as a follower of Jesus is to take responsibility and tell the truth and own your mistakes. When you take responsibility, again, you don't blame or accuse or make an excuse. And while simple but not always easy, start by acknowledging what you did or neglected to do that ended in the error. For example, with a boss, you might start the conversation and say something like this: Veronica, I need to talk to you about a mistake I made in a project. Here's what happened and where I went wrong. It wasn't intentional, yet not taking the time to recheck my work resulted in a mistake that cost us a client. And I want to take full responsibility for my error and make a commitment to pay more attention to detail in the future. After you open the conversation, pause. Invite the person to respond. Now remember, you're not going to be able to control their reaction. Some people will react calmly, others may get heated and lash out. What is important is that you remain grounded and unprovoked. Hear them out without taking a defensive posture. Demonstrate respect for their point of view. Then what you want to do is tell your boss how you will fix the error and what you can do to make it right, and also what she can expect from you in the future. For example, you might say, my plan is to call the client and explain my error and create a plan to get us back on track. In the future, I will plan better so I'm not overwhelmed and rushing. I'll also put checks and balances in place when I'm working on highly detailed projects by having another person on the team look over my part and offer feedback. The idea here is to let the other person know that you want to make things right. Next, ask the person, in this case your boss, how they see the situation and what feedback and or go forward advice they have for you. Ask them what they would like to see happen and what they'd like to see happen in the future. When you both agree on how to handle the situation and what behavior in the future is desired, make a commitment. And when you make a commitment, keep it. There's little worse than continuing to make mistakes and renege on what you promised to do in the future. Now it's time to behave yourself out of the problem you behaved yourself into and get better. And listen, as I mentioned, we all make mistakes. Welcome to being human. The key is humility, transparency, and taking responsibility to improve. So, when you make a mistake, pray, practice accountability, acknowledge your error, let the other person respond, make a plan to fix the issue, and commit to getting better and following through. We all make mistakes, and sometimes it helps to talk through them with a trusted advisor. So, if you're looking for a coach to help you grow personally and professionally, you can check out our transformational coaching where we're going to help you move from where you are to where you want to be. You can visit our website at christianworkingwoman.org to learn more and to connect with a coach today.